Madness prevails, doesn't it? We are saturated in this country with goddamn insanity. It just... Kevin McCarthy has decided to allow a vote on impeachment of Joe Biden. The Christian fascist demons are running rampant through Congress, all over the countryside. Donald Jesus Trump is the most guilty son of a bitch ever to be charged with one crime, much less 91 crimes. And he's still crowing like a cock of the walk, like he's going to have everything dismissed. I'm going to try to get to most of this today. Jesus Christ. I swear, it's like operating from one of the hallways in a madhouse, isn't it? Doesn't it feel like that to you sometimes? Or do you just tune it out? I try to tune it out 90% of the time, but the 10% that it leaks through where I realize what is happening to my country, I start to go into very severe anxiety. You know what I'm saying? I just can't get over this horrible tantrum these Christian devils are having. They're ripping the country to pieces. Well, it seems that way anyway. And come Election Day 2024, in the immediate aftermath, I should say, of Election Day, you know all hell is going to break loose. You know it's going to happen. And I am concerned about the violence. I guess who, Trump's good ally, the fascist dictator of Russia, this Slavic prick Vladimir Putin. Did you hear what he offered today in meeting with the bloated, ugly-looking little fucker that runs North Korea, Kim Jong Crazy? Yeah, these two are together in Vladivostok, Russia, in order for Vladimir to try to pimp Kim into giving Vladimir some good weapons so that Vladimir can continue his genocide against the people of Ukraine. What a couple of, we've got satellite systems. We know exactly where these two monsters are. Why not just fucking drop a bomb on them? No, I'm serious. I know. I'm getting crazier and crazier, and I understand that. I never used to talk this way, did I? All this not so thinly veiled suggestions of violence against the people who are destroying not just our democracy, but democracy around the world. And the planet, or life on the planet, I have become just a bit crazed. I will fully accept that. So when I think about these two subhumans, this fucking Nazi Putin and this beast Kim, getting together to talk about how to cause more death and dismemberment and destruction and blood and gore and orphans and widows and widowers. And that's the only reason they're meeting. If I could be king of the world for just one day, Jesus Christ, would I sweep a lot of garbage to the curb? I swear to God I would. You swear to whom, Malloy? Anyway, back to Putin. This prick said today that the criminal cases against his good buddy, Donald Jesus Trump, are political revenge that show the fundamental corruption of the United States. This Nazi fuck who runs Russia has the audacity to talk about the corruption of the United States. Yes, we have a lot of corruption here. But, physician heal thyself or some such shit. Vladimir Putin saying that the charges against Trump display political corruption here. Oh, man. At an Eastern Economic Forum gathering in Vladivostok, which is another reason that this Slavic prick is over there, Putin said this, quote, Eastern Economic Forum, oh please. Putin said this, quote, "As for the prosecution of Trump, for us, what is happening in today's conditions, in my opinion, is good, because it shows the rottenness of the American political system, which cannot pretend to teach others democracy. Everything that is happening with Trump," this prick went on, "is the persecution of a political rival for political reasons. That's what it is. And this is being done in front of the public of the United States and the whole world." Oh, God. Sometimes I look at this oval-faced bastard and I think all kinds of unpleasant thoughts. Oh, my God, do I get to unpleasant thoughts? That's an understatement. Look, if you are just listening to this podcast, if you just found it, honest to God, I haven't always been this incredibly willing to insinuate violence. I really haven't. And I guess deep down, I still am not. There are just a few people on this tired planet that I think the entire human all animal species would be better off if they didn't exist. Now, let me be clear. I know you have had that thought in the past also. I know you have. It might have been, one of your in-laws that you thought that about. Maybe it would have been an ex-spouse. But I know you've had that thought, and especially if it considers political figures, that how much better life would be if certain people were just eliminated, if they didn't exist. Now, I realize it could be an incredibly long list, but you must agree with me on this. You may not agree in principle, but I think you agree in fact that there are people, at least they look like you and me. There are human beings who are doing everything in they possibly can to destroy life on earth, to destroy anyone having a chance of having a decent life for the short time that we are conscious. And those people, in my opinion, should be eliminated. Woo! God damn, Malloy. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, back to the Slavic terror. Trump has claimed that he could resolve the conflict in Ukraine in a matter of days if he gets the presidency. Yeah, of course you can. Go build your fucking wall, you Jesus Christ or freak you. Anyway, Putin said, quote, "We hear that Mr. Trump says that he will solve pressing problems in a few days, including the Ukrainian crisis. Well, this cannot but bring happiness. This is good." End quote. The Ukrainian crisis that this hideous-looking troll, Vladimir Putin, has created. I have already gone through some of the provocations that the U.S. government over the past 40 years have involved itself in under Democrats and Republicans to incite this Russian troll. I understand. But to invade a country like Ukraine and start slaughtering people, murdering people, raping people, burning people alive. Vladimir, you vicious ghoul, you, that is not the way. And your buddy Trump, the one that you realize, Putin's an ex-KGB man. He understands that Trump is the most idiotic, ignorant son of a bitch that the United States ever could have put forward as president. And Putin knows exactly how to manipulate Donald Jesus. He knows exactly what to do to Trump, and he has done it over and over. This latest little vomit coming from Putin about Donald Trump's crimes show that it shows the fundamental corruption of the United States. You're not a Russian bear, Putin. You're what a Russian bear leaves in the forest after he, He also added, Putin did, that Russia's poor relations with the United States were not going to change regardless of who becomes president. He added this, quote, "What to expect from the future, no matter who the president is, it's hard for us to say, but it's unlikely that anything will change radically," end quote. He also claimed that the Biden administration has instilled a strong bias against Russia. And, quote, "It will be very difficult for them to somehow turn this whole ship in the other direction," end quote. Putin, you ignorant slob bastard, you, back in the 1950s, when I was in elementary school, we were told that your fucking Soviet Union, which was mostly Russia to us kids and most Americans, that you were a country full of murderers, rapists, terrorists, and son of a bitches, even though it was only 10 years after you defeated the Nazis. But so it wasn't the Biden administration, jack off, that I'm trying to make clear here, that instilled a strong bias against Russia. That bias has been there since the end of World War II. And to a certain degree, it existed prior to World War II. I mean, the great Soviet system that so many American liberals back in the 20s and early 30s saw as the new man. This is how the new man would live under the fascist boot of Soviet communism, huh? Wow. We have really been jerked around by some of the so-called great Americans, haven't we? Oh, by the way, there's supposed to be a presidential election, don't laugh, in Russia also in 2024. And the Slavic prick was asked if he would seek another term. You know, he's been in power as president or prime minister for the past 23 years. And he was asked, and he said this, quote, "We will talk about it," end quote. Jesus Christ. So Trump and Putin, and of course, the hysterical part of that is that Trump thinks that he has the upper hand over Putin, just like he thought he had the upper hand over this bloated beast from North Korea, this Kim Jong crazy son of a bitch. And both of these dictators, whether it's Putin or Kim, and even earlier Modi or Erdogan in Turkey, I mean, Bolsonaro in Brazil, these fascist son of a bitches, they look at Trump and understand what he is. He is nothing. He is a cipher. The people who own and operate Trump are the ones that these dictators want to be in good stead with, because democracy has always been a threat. The thing about dictatorships, so when you have dictatorships, eventually the dictatorships turn on each other and try to devour each other. And the attendant bloodshed and chaos and death and destruction that comes as a result of that leaves tens of millions dead. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.